In a shocking twist that has sent ripples through Hollywood, Blake Lively quietly orchestrated a covert lawsuit months before her public legal showdown with It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni became headline news. This clandestine operation, unearthed through an exhaustive investigation by DailyMail.com, was seemingly designed to secure incriminating text messages from Baldoni's former publicist without alerting him or his team. The maneuver has sparked intense debate, with legal experts questioning its ethics and describing it as a highly unconventional tactic. The lawsuit, filed in secrecy on September 27, 2024 in Manhattan Supreme Court, was submitted under the name Van Zandt, a company tied to Lively. By deliberately omitting the names of defendants and listing only does 1 through 10 as unidentified individuals, the filing evaded public scrutiny. This obscurity enabled Lively's legal team to issue a subpoena for sensitive communications and then withdraw the lawsuit, all while Baldoni remained completely unaware of its existence. The strategy has been labeled by some as a shadow lawsuit, raising questions about its legitimacy and intent. Brian Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, was blindsided by the revelation. Speaking to DailyMail.com, he condemned the tactic as an attempt to circumvent standard legal procedures. This appears to be a deliberate end run around proper process, designed to secretly obtain documents without notifying the opposing party, Friedman said. Such actions could be deemed an abuse of the legal system, and we intend to pursue all available remedies to address this. He emphasized that he had no knowledge of the lawsuit until DailyMail.com reached out for comment, highlighting the extent of its secrecy. Lively's legal team, however, staunchly defended the maneuver as both routine and lawful. In a statement, they argued that the lawsuit was a standard investigative tool used to uncover evidence of wrongdoing. Doe lawsuits are a well-established mechanism for identifying unknown perpetrators and gathering critical information, said Ezra Hudson, Lively's attorney. The outrage from Baldoni's camp is a distraction from the damning evidence this lawsuit uncovered, evidence that exposes their misconduct in their own words. Hudson accused Friedman of manufacturing controversy to deflect attention from the findings. The Anatomy of a Shadow lawsuit court documents revealed that the Van Zandt lawsuit accused up to 10 unnamed individuals of causing harm to the company's business and reputation. The complaint was intentionally vague, alleging that these individuals failed to act in Van Zandt's best interests, prioritize personal gain at the expense of the plaintiff, neglected to communicate openly on matters affecting the plaintiff's business, and disclose confidential information to third parties. By avoiding specific names, dates, or incidents, the filing slipped unnoticed into the legal system, evading detection by Baldoni's team or the media. Just 4 days after the lawsuit was filed, on October 1st, 2024, Lively's attorney Samantha Katza issued a subpoena to Stephanie Jones, Baldoni's former publicist, and her firm, Jones Works. The subpoena demanded all documents and communications related to Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, their associated companies, and Baldoni himself. DailyMail.com reviewed a copy of the subpoena, which has not been publicly disclosed, confirming its broad scope and targeted nature. Jones, who had recently severed ties with Baldoni amid professional disputes, complied with the subpoena without objection. She turned over a trove of private messages exchanged between Jennifer Abel, a former Jones Works staffer who continued to work with Baldoni, and Melissa Nathan, a crisis management specialist. These messages, retrieved from Abel's company-issued phone after she left Jones Works in July 2024, allegedly revealed a coordinated effort to undermine Lively's public image during the promotional campaign for It Ends With Us, a 2024 film starring Lively and Baldoni and produced by Baldoni's Wayfarer Studios. In one notable message, Nathan reportedly wrote, "We can overshadow anyone's narrative," referring to a strategy to manage Lively's public perception. Another message alluded to efforts to neutralize Lively's influence in the media. These communications painted a troubling picture of a calculated campaign, allegedly orchestrated by Baldoni, Abel, and Nathan, to diminish Lively's standing, while promoting a film centered on themes of domestic abuse, a project that demanded sensitivity and collaboration. After securing the messages, CATSA moved swiftly to withdraw the Van Zandt lawsuit on December 19, 2024, effectively closing the case without further action. The following day, Lively escalated her legal offensive by filing a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department, CRD, accusing Baldoni of sexual harassment and retaliation. This public filing marked the official start of a high-profile legal feud that has captivated Hollywood and beyond: Van Zandt, unraveling the mystery company. The origins of Van Zandt, the entity used to file the lawsuit, add a layer of intrigue to the saga. Founded in 2010 in Delaware, a state renowned for its corporate secrecy, Van Zandt's ownership was initially shrouded in mystery. Delaware's lax disclosure requirements meant that public records offered no clues about the company's leadership or purpose. However, when Van Zandt began conducting business in California, it was required to file additional documentation, revealing critical details. A September 2023 California corporate filing listed Blake Reynolds, Lively's married name, as Van Zandt's CEO, secretary, and chief financial officer. The filing described Van Zandt as an entertainment industry firm, though its public activities were sparse. Prior to the Manhattan lawsuit, Van Zandt's only documented business involved importing home goods from the United Kingdom. U.S. Customs records show that in 2019, Van Zandt received 2 shipments of furniture, fabric, and doors from the British shop, delivered to Lively's residence in Westchester County, New York. The shipments were addressed to Molly Carow, a public relations professional who also served as a producer on Taylor Swift's I Bet You Think About Me, Taylor's version, music video, directed by Lively. This connection suggests that Van Zandt may have served as a vehicle for Lively's personal and professional ventures, from home decor to entertainment projects. The use of Van Zandt to file the lawsuit has fueled speculation about Lively's motives. Legal experts suggest that the company was chosen to shield Lively's identity and avoid attracting media attention. Using a corporate entity for a lawsuit can be a strategic way to maintain privacy, especially for a high-profile individual like Lively, said Lincoln Bandlow, a Los Angeles-based attorney. It's not uncommon to take steps to stay under the radar when dealing with sensitive legal matters. Legal experts sound the alarm. The Van Zandt lawsuit has drawn sharp criticism from legal experts, who argue that its structure and execution raise serious ethical concerns. Ron Zambrano, employment litigation chair at West Coast Trial Lawyers, described the case as a sham lawsuit designed to serve an ulterior motive. This was a calculated effort to operate in secrecy, which could be sanctionable for wasting judicial resources, Zambrano told DailyMail.com. The approach is highly questionable and could undermine the credibility of Lively's legal strategy. Celebrity attorney Peter Gleason, who has represented numerous Hollywood clients, echoed these concerns. It's inappropriate to use a lawsuit as a pretext to gather evidence for another case, Gleason said. This looks like a strategic ruse to lend legitimacy to an otherwise questionable discovery process. He noted that the vague nature of the complaint and the use of unnamed defendants are highly unusual, particularly for a company suing its own representatives or staff. Keith Davidson, a litigator and co-host of the legal podcast Ask Two Lawyers, which has covered the lively Baldoni dispute, emphasized the rarity of such tactics. Filing a vague complaint against only Doe defendants is almost unheard of, Davidson said. The entire setup appears to be a cover for obtaining information that could be used elsewhere. It doesn't add up as a standalone case. However, not all experts view the lawsuit as problematic. Bandlow argued that Doe lawsuits are a legitimate tool in cases where the plaintiff needs to identify unknown parties, such as in defamation suits against anonymous online users. It's not unusual to file a lawsuit discreetly to uncover wrongdoing, especially when the plaintiff is a public figure trying to avoid media scrutiny, he said. Lively's team may have been acting strategically to protect her interests. Lively's attorney, Ezra Hudson, doubled down on this defense, asserting that the lawsuit was both ethical and necessary. This lawsuit unearthed documented evidence, in the Wayfarer team's own words, of a plan to undermine Blake Lively, Hudson said. The objections from Baldoni's side have nothing to do with legal ethics, which are not in question here. They're upset because their actions, which they believed were untraceable, were exposed. The lively Baldoni feud, a timeline of tensions. The Van Zandt lawsuit is just one chapter in the escalating legal war between Lively, 37, and Baldoni, 41. The conflict first came to public attention in December 2024, when Lively filed her CRD complaint and a federal lawsuit alleging that Baldoni engaged in unprofessional behavior on the set of It Ends With Us. The film, which addresses themes of domestic abuse, required a delicate balance of collaboration and sensitivity. But Lively claimed that Baldoni's actions constituted sexual harassment. She further accused Baldoni and his publicists of launching a smear campaign to tarnish her reputation during the film's release in August 2024. Baldoni responded with a countersuit in January 2025, denying Lively's allegations and accusing her of fabricating claims to sabotage his career. He argued that Lively's accusations were a strategic move to shift focus from her own conduct during the film's production and promotion. Both parties have vehemently rejected the accusations against them, setting the stage for a contentious legal battle that shows no signs of slowing down. The New York Times amplified the story shortly after Lively's CRD filing, publishing an explosive report that referenced the incriminating text messages obtained through the Van Zandt subpoena. The report raised eyebrows by noting that the messages were secured via a subpoena, as no such legal action had been publicly disclosed at the time. Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, was quick to point out that neither he nor his clients had been notified of any subpoena, underscoring the unusual nature of the process. A subpoena requires a case number tied to a formally filed complaint, Friedman said. To our knowledge, no such case existed at that stage. DailyMail.com's investigation has since revealed that the legal war had been quietly brewing for months, with the Van Zandt lawsuit serving as a critical early salvo. The discovery of this hidden maneuver has reshaped the narrative, highlighting the lengths to which Lively's team went to gather evidence against Baldoni. Stephanie Jones, a key player in the drama. The involvement of Stephanie Jones, Baldoni's former publicist, adds another layer of complexity to the saga. Jones parted ways with Baldoni in August 2024, amid tensions surrounding the promotion of It Ends With Us. In December 2024, she filed her own lawsuit against Baldoni, alleging breach of contract and claiming that he terminated her services without cause. Jones accused Jennifer Abel, who had left Jones Works to work directly with Baldoni, of conspiring with Melissa Nathan to poach Baldoni as a client. Baldoni's countersuit painted a different picture, alleging that Jones acted out of spite and leaked the damaging text messages to Lively's team. He claimed that by August 2024, Jones was motivated by personal animosity toward Abel and sought to undermine Baldoni's team. However, Jones and her attorney, Kristen Toller, vehemently deny these accusations, insisting that the messages were provided in response to a lawful subpoena. Ms. Jones complied with a court-ordered request and had no reason to resist, as she had nothing to hide. Toller told DailyMail.com, "Any suggestion of a leak is baseless." Intriguingly, Baldoni's lawsuit referenced an August 21, 2024 phone call in which Lively's publicist, Leslie Sloan, allegedly boasted to Nathan about having seen her text messages. Sloan reportedly warned Nathan that she would soon face legal action. If true, this would suggest that Lively's team had access to the messages before the Van Zandt subpoena was issued on October 1st, raising questions about how the information was obtained. Baldoni's team has seized on this discrepancy, arguing that it points to improper conduct by Lively's camp. In a further twist, Abel's departure from Jonesworks in July 2024 was marked by a cryptic exchange. In a parting message to Jonesworks, Abel wrote, "I've enjoyed working with you both and wish you nothing but the best." An unidentified staffer responded, "Unfortunately, your company phone says otherwise," hinting at the incriminating messages later retrieved from Abel's device. This exchange underscores the tensions within Baldoni's PR team and the pivotal role that internal conflicts played in the unfolding drama. The bigger picture: ethics and power in Hollywood. The Van Zandt lawsuit has cast a spotlight on the complex interplay of ethics, power, and legal strategy in Hollywood. For Lively, a seasoned actress and producer known for her roles in Gossip Girl and The Age of Adeline, the lawsuit represents a bold move to protect her reputation and career. Her decision to pursue a covert legal strategy reflects the high stakes of maintaining a public image in an industry where perception is paramount. For Baldoni, an actor and filmmaker who gained prominence with Jane the Virgin and 5 Feet Apart, the allegations and counter-allegations threatened to overshadow his work on It Ends With Us, a project he both starred in and directed. The film, based on Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, was a commercial success, but faced scrutiny for its handling of domestic abuse themes, with some critics arguing that the promotional campaign downplayed the story's gravity. The legal feud has only intensified these debates, drawing attention to the behind-the-scenes dynamics of the production. The controversy also raises broader questions about the use of legal tactics to gain an advantage in high-stakes disputes. Doe lawsuits, while legally permissible, are often viewed with skepticism when used to obscure the plaintiff's intentions or bypass standard procedures. The Van Zandt case has sparked discussions among legal scholars and industry insiders about the boundaries of ethical conduct in litigation, particularly when public figures are involved. What lies ahead? As the legal battle between Lively and Baldoni unfolds, both sides are bracing for a protracted fight. Lively's team is likely to lean heavily on the text messages obtained through the Van Zandt subpoena to bolster her claims of harassment and retaliation. The messages, which allegedly reveal a concerted effort to undermine her, could prove to be a linchpin in her case, provided they are deemed admissible in court. Baldoni's attorneys, meanwhile, are expected to challenge the legitimacy of the Van Zandt lawsuit and the methods used to obtain the evidence. Friedman has signaled his intent to explore all legal avenues, including potential sanctions against Lively's team for what he describes as an abuse of process. The outcome of these challenges could have significant implications for the case's trajectory. Beyond the courtroom, the feud has captured the public's imagination. fueling speculation and commentary across social media and entertainment outlets. The New York Times explosive report, which first brought the text messages to light, has been followed by a flurry of analyses and opinion pieces dissecting the dispute. For fans of It Ends With Us, the controversy has cast a shadow over a film that was meant to spark meaningful conversations about domestic abuse, leaving many to wonder how the legal drama will ultimately resolve. The Van Zan lawsuit, with its secretive origins and far-reaching consequences, has added a layer of intrigue to an already complex narrative. As new details emerge, the public awaits further developments in a case that has all the makings of a Hollywood blockbuster, complete with drama, deception, and high-stakes showdowns.